Welcome for today's Ein Yaakov, being that it's Parshas Yisroi, which in Yisroi we have the reading of Matan Torah, Seres HaDibros, receiving the Torah, Ten Commandments. We're going to learn part of Ein Yaakov, which talks about what happened before Hashem gave the Torah, during and afterwards. Some very interesting things. Some of them are very known, and some of them, the details, for whatever reason, are not that often talked about. So Omar of Chizkiah said, "My dichsiv, what is the meaning of the pasuk that says in Tehillim, Mishamayim Mishmait Adin Eretz Yoda V'Shakata? From the heavens I made heard judgment or laws, rules. The land was trembling and it was quiet. Was it trembling or was it quiet? Was it scared or was it calm? Im Yara Lama Shakata. If it was afraid, then why did it calm down? Why was it tranquil? V'im shakata, and if it was quiet, lama yara, you have to make up your mind. Was the land, was the world trembling and afraid, or was it relaxed and calm? Those are two opposite feelings, right? Ella, rather what it means is like this. But chila yara, in the beginning the world was trembling, it was scared, it was afraid what's going to be. Well, it was safe, and in the end, shakta, the world relaxed and calmed down, it was quiet. V'lama yara, why was it afraid? Why was the world afraid? Kidei Rish Lakish. So the answer we have from a different teaching of Rish Lakish. Amar Rish Lakish said, "My dichsiv, what's the meaning of the pasuk in Chumash Parshas Bereishis? Vayi erev vayi veiker yom hashishi." It says there was evening, there was morning, there's the sixth day, but it doesn't say yom shishi. It says yom hashishi, the sixth day. Hey yisera lamali. Why do you have to have extra hey? We're so used to it because we always say Kiddush, Yom Hashishi. But the real way to say it is Yom Shishi, sixth day. Why do you have to say Hashishi? There's an extra letter, and every letter in Torah has a meaning. Nothing is extra. So why does it say Hashishi? So Rish Lakish said, Melamed, this teaches us, Shehisna Kadosh Baruch Hu Ma'aseh Bereishis. The sixth day, Hashem made a condition, He made a deal with creation of the world. He said, I'm making you, I'm creating the world, here it is, but there's a condition about the sixth day. Ha means the sixth day. He said, Im Yisrael Mekablim Es HaTorah, if the Yidden are going to accept the Torah in several thousands of years from now, then good, I'm going to keep the world going. Atem Miskayim, he told the whole Ma'aseh Bereishis, the whole world, the universe. If the Yidden are going to accept the Torah on the sixth day of Sivan, Ha Shishi, the sixth day, doesn't just mean Friday, it means the sixth day of Sivan, then I'll keep you going. Im lav, and if not, ani machzir eschem l'soihu v'avoihu, I'm going to return you to what's soihu v'avoihu? Pustun vist, emptiness, nothingness. Emptiness, right? Hashem told Ma'aseh Bereishis, He said, listen, I just created you, but the condition is sixth day of Sivan. If the Yidden are going to accept the Torah in the year 2448, then great, you'll continue to exist. But if not, then the world is going back. There's no point to the world if the Yidden are not going to accept the Torah. So that's why it says Hashishi, because in the beginning the world was pretty shaky. They were afraid. Are we going to continue to exist or not? But then, when the Yidden accepted the Torah, and Hashem kept His part of the deal, the Yidden kept the Torah, so the world continued to exist. Darash Rab Simai. Rab Simai learned the following very interesting drasha, very interesting teaching. He said, "B'sha'ah she'ekdimu Yisrael nasa l'nishma." We know that the Yidden, they said, "Nasa v'nishma." We're going to do what Hashem says. V'nishma, we're going to listen to the details and understand what, how, and etc. That means the Yidden first accepted whatever Hashem is going to say. Yes, we're in. It's like signing a contract without knowing what it says. And you're obligating yourself to do whatever is there. And later, tell me what I have to do. 600,000 holy malachim, holy angels came. They came to every single Yid. And kosher le shnei ksarim, they gave them 2 crowns. Double-decker probably, right? 2 crowns. Echad keneged nasav, echad keneged nishma. One keneged corresponding to the fact they said nasa, we're going to do what Hashem wants. You deserve a crown for that. And one is for saying nishma. There's a whole question. We should get a third one because we said Nasa before Nishma, right? That's also a big deal. First you say Nasa and then you say Nishma. That means you're really committed to do what Hashem wants. Chivan shechatu Yisrael, but when the Yidden did Avera, what was the first Avera they did after Matan Torah? Anyone know? What? Chet HaEgel. Yeah, very good. I mean, that's not very good, but it's good that you know. They did the Chet HaEgel, and Yardu Me'av Esrim Riba Malachi Chabala Ufrakum 120,000. That's double of the amount that came to put it. The bad Malachim came down, and they took away the crowns. Shenemar vayisnatzlu bnei Yisrael as ediyah mehar cherev. There's a pasuk which hints to that they were empty. They lost the crowns that were given to them because they did an avera, so they lost that special reward. Omar Rav Chama bar Chanina b'cherev ta'anu b'cherev parku. In cherev, which means by Har Sinai, they were loaded up with crowns, and in cherev, which is another word for the area of Har Sinai, they were parku. They were unloaded from these special crowns. What are these two, loading and unloading? It's as we said, they were loaded with the crowns, and they were unloaded with after the Aveda because the crowns were taken from them. All these crowns, Moshe had the schus, and he got all those crowns. So he had a lot of crowns. 600,000 times 2 is how much?
1.2 million.
1.2 million. Very good. He had a lot of crowns. That's why it says that Moshe Rabbeinu's face shined. Right? When he came out from Har Sinai, he had a special shine, such a big shine that he had to cover his face. The Eden couldn't look at his face. Where's that shine of Kedusha, that shine of holiness from? It's from all those crowns that he had. Right? Rish Lakish said, good news. Hashem is going to give us back all these crowns. Shenemar, as the pasuk says in Yeshaya regarding Mashiach's arrival, Ufduya Hashem Yeshuvun, Uvo'otzim Bina v'simchas elam al reisham. Sosin v'simcha yasigu v'nasu yagam anacha, simcha shebe elam al reisham. They're going to have again on their heads joy. It's an interesting way to say you'll have joy on your head. It means you'll have the joy of having the crowns back. Because really we deserve those crowns. Because of some mistakes, we lost them, they're coming back. Omer Rabbi Lazar, that was all Rabbi Simai, right? But now Rabbi Lazar said, another thing happened when the Yidden said Nasa before Nishma. Yatus a Baskel came out. The Amra, Baskel is a heavenly voice, and said to them, Mi Gila Livanai Razeh, who revealed to my children the secret. It's a big secret to say Nasa before Nishma. This is a special expression that Malachim use to say Nasa before Nishma. People, they usually say, well, I don't know if I want it. Tell me what it is. What does it mean? You see from the pasuk in Tehillim that Malachav, Hashem's Malachim, they're Gibeirei Chayach, they're very mighty. And it says Oisei, which is the same sherish as Nasa, they do his word. Lishmaya, same sherish as Nishma, to hear in the sound of his voice, of his words. So first they do, then they listen. And Baskel came out and said, whoa, you're talking like Malachim. Which of course is very hilig, very holy. It says in Shir HaShirim, the Yidden are compared to an apple on the trees of the forest. It's a way to say that I love it so much. It's like a sweet fruit. And Hashem says that He loves the Yidden, He cherishes the Yidden. The Yidden are so special. Why do you use an example of an apple? You could have used a better fruit, right? A plum. No? Why is apple? Why are Yidden compared to an apple? There's a very interesting thing about apples, that when they grow, first you have the apple, and then after the apple comes the leaf, the stem of the apple. Usually you have the leaf, the stem first, and then the fruit emerges from that. By an apple, it's the other way around. Similarly, we did something backwards. What did we do backwards? We said Nasa before Nishma. Usually you say Nishma and then you go to Nasa. I want to hear what you tell me to do. If I like it, or I think I can handle it, if it makes sense to me, if it's worth it, then I'll do it. But if not, then I'll say no thank you, sir, or Hashem. Chas v'shalom. But we didn't say that. We said Nasa before Nishma, and that is one of the things that in Shir HaShirim Yidden are praised for that very special commitment and dedication that Yidden have to Hashem. Now we have another story, but this story is about a tzedeki. A tzedeki is, who knows what a tzedeki is? The people that only listen or follow things that are in the oral Torah, in the written Torah, in Chumash. Anything that Moshe Rabbeinu said, they say, who told you that? Where's it written? Did you make that up? Anything that Chazal, our sages, tell us, they don't follow it.
The Karaites.
Yes, Karaites, Tzedeki in different groups. One came from the other, but in this context it was a Tzedeki, same concept. Karaites. So there was such a Tzedeki, and he was hanging around in the Beis Medrash. And he saw in the house of study, in the yeshiva, he saw the Chazil Rava, the Kama'ayim Bishmaita. He saw Rava, who was being Me'ayin in learning. He was learning halacha, but he was very into it. He was paying a lot of attention and fully focused. And as Rava was learning, and he didn't hear anything that's going on around him, he was fully into the learning, very, very concentrated. The Yasba etzba'asa lidei tusei karei. His fingers were under his feet, maybe under his legs, but it was under his feet. And the way he was sitting, he was crushing his fingers, but he didn't notice. The kamayitzbuhu, and he was squeezing them, almost like hurting his fingers, which he did not notice. The kamaban etzba'asei dama, and it was bleeding. That's how much he was pushing, but he wasn't paying attention. He was so into it, and his hands were under his feet. And he didn't notice that it was bleeding. This whole thing, the tzedeki, we don't know his name, but he was a tzedeki, he witnessed this. He saw Rava learning, and his fingers are bleeding. Amar lei. So he said a very not nice thing. Tzedeki said, Amma pziza, you foolish nation, the kadmisu puma le'udnei, or pumaychu la'adnaichu. You're a foolish nation. It's another way of saying you're stupid. He said, you're a fool. Your whole nation is a fool. All the Yidden are foolish. Why? Because you put your mouth before your ears. When did you put your mouth before your ears? You said Nasa, we're going to do, and then Nishma. First Nishma, listen, then you could say if you're going to do it or not. It's a silly thing. It's not smart to first put your mouth before your ears. Better to listen, and then you know what's happening. Then you answer if you're going to do it or not. And he said, you started off that way because Benasa v'Nishma. Akati befachazuzaichu kamisu. And you're still in the same silliness. You still put your mouth before your ears. First, you have to listen, said the Tzedeki. And if you like what Hashem is offering you, then you should accept it. V'ilah, and if not, the Tzedeki said, if you don't like what Hashem says, maybe he says you should only eat certain foods and you want to eat anything. Maybe he says you can't work on Shabbos and you want whatever. If you don't like it, lakablisu. This is what the Tzedeki said when he saw Rava learning so intently and so concentrated. They didn't even notice that his fingers were bleeding because of the way he was sitting. And they said, you guys are stupid. You're foolish. You put your mouth before your ears. Amarle. So Rava answered him back, and he said like this: Anon disaginon bishlei musa. We are the people that we go with sincerity. We believe in Hashem. Ksiv Bon, it says, Tumas Yisharim Tanchim. We don't ask so many questions. We know if it comes from Hashem, then it's got to be good. We don't try to figure out what do you mean and what do you have in mind. You're not talking about a person. Of course, if a person comes to you and he offers you something, you have to know what he's offering you. You have to put your ears before your mouth, listen, and then you answer. But if it's Hashem, then we're actually smarter, because the pasuk says, Tumas Yisharim Tanchim. If you go in a way of tmimos, if you're sincere, you just believe what Hashem says and you follow, then you'll go on the right path, because you're not going to mess up. Hashem is taking you there. Hanach anoshe de sagan balilusa, but those people who are constantly not straight and they're trying to find tricks to get around what Hashem wants and figure out that maybe there's a smarter way and an easier way and a faster way. These types of people, it says about them, the selef beigdim yeshadim, that the those that rebel, they're going to rob from themselves their neshama. It's a mashal in Mishlei about people that do what this tzedeki is doing. Oh, if Hashem tells you something, first ask questions, try to figure it out, see if you make sense, and only then are you going to decide if you want to follow. That's not a good idea. So the same thing. I'm sitting and learning. I'm not so worried because I'm doing the right thing. And if I got a little bit too concentrated, I didn't notice my fingers, I'm not so worried because Hashem is going to take care of me. Of course, we're careful, but we're not silly to think that if we don't figure everything out first and tell Hashem to wait till we have a meeting and discuss it and see if we want it, it's actually a smart thing to do because when you listen to Hashem, you could never go wrong. Amar Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani, Amar Rabbi Yenusan. Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani said in the name of Rabbi Yenusan, "My dechsiv libavtini achesi chala, libavtini ba'achas me'inayich." It says in Shir Hashirim when it talks about the Yidden, one of the ways that Hashem expresses that the Yidden are very special to Him. What was the first way we said before? He called us what fruit? Apple. Apple is sweet. It's one way. But another way He calls us achesi kala. You ever heard of that word? Basi Ligani achesi kala? 2 words, right? But in a different pasuk in Shir Hashirim it says libavtini achesi chala, libavtini ba'achas me'inayich. It says 2 times libavtini, which is a very special term. It means closeness or very excited, happy, warm, and hearty, right? Why does it say it 2 times? Just say 1 time that you like the Yidden. So, answer is, Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani said in the name of Rabbi Yenusan, "Batchila b'achas me'inayich." In the beginning, it's only from one of your eyes. L'chshatasi b'shtei einayich. When the Yidden accepted, initially Hashem said, "I love the Yidden," in one way. It's called one eye. And then after you started doing what Hashem wants, then it was with both eyes. And this is part of the pasuk of what the Yidden, the expression of Hashem's love to the Yidden. Amar Ula said, "Aluva kala mizana mitech chupasa." It's a shame on the kala, or a disgrace to a kala, who is going to marry somebody else under her chuppah. She just had her chuppah, she just got married, and then she runs and has chasna with someone else. Are you allowed to have chasna with someone else if you're married? No. Omar Rav Mori Bredev Shmuel, Maikra Achmelach Nidi Nasan Reichai. What does the pasuk mean when it says, until the king is in his party, meaning he's still celebrating the chasana with his kala, with the queen, Nirdi Nasan Reichai, he left his aroma, his smell, like a perfume, for other people, which means that he did a similar thing. And under the chuppah, or right from the chuppah, it still has all the taste and the smell and everything. And right away he's running away and doing an avera. Rav said you should know that Hashem still loves the Yidden. Why? Because it says nosan, he gave, and not hisriach. There's different ways of saying that a person dropped or left the ways that he was supposed to behave. He put his way in a different place. That means he put it there, but he plans on bringing it back. That even though the Yidden did an Avera, there's a secret that a lot of people don't know. It says in the Medrash that one of the reasons why this whole thing happened with Chet HaEgel is to teach Yidden that it's possible to do tshuva. Look, even the Yidden, right after Chet HaEgel, they just heard from Hashem that you can't do Avodah Zarah, you can't worship idols. And right afterwards, just a few weeks, they went and they did Avodah Zarah. And even such people, they could do tshuva. How much more so anyone else that does even a smaller avera, and it's not at the same moment that they heard Hashem say it, or if you so soon afterwards, of course they could do tshuva. Now, you're not allowed to say, I'm going to do an avera and then I'll do tshuva, but you see from here that there is a special tshuva that's allowed. Now, the Rif says an interesting thing. Or one of the Mefarshim, one of the commentaries say the following. Why does it say aluva? What it's referring to is not. It's why are you even telling this to us? Because they're trying to teach us another interesting thing. That the Yidden, they would never do such an avera, and if they did, why would Hashem tell us about it? Why would we even talk about it? Because really, it's the Satan. The Satan convinced the Yidden to do such a thing. He made it so hard for them not to do the Avodah Zarah. Aluva, disgraced or embarrassed, shame onto the one, is to the Satan that tried to work so hard to try to get us to do the avera. Because in a regular circumstance, without a major, big, huge Yetzer Hara, we would never do it. You just heard Hashem say not to do Avodah Zarah. You just took out of Mitzrayim. He split the sea, Kriyas Yamsuf. You're going to go now and you're going to do Avodah Zarah? Huh? And Matan Torah. You just had it. It doesn't make any sense. So Aluva is referring to the Satan, the Yitzhahara, that is getting in to do such a terrible thing. Talmud Rabbanan. We learned in a Braisa. Chachamim said the following: Hane'elovim ve'inam ilvim shemim charpasam ve'inam meshivim. There's certain people that even if they get embarrassed, someone makes fun of them or someone embarrasses them, they don't embarrass back. Maybe they'll get them in trouble, maybe they'll speak to them, maybe they'll tell them they don't like what they did, but they're not going to shtech them back publicly and say, I got another one for you. Right? If someone embarrassed you, they don't do anything back. Or they hear someone making fun of them, it's a different way of embarrassing somebody, and they don't answer back. Very often if someone says something insulting to you, you answer back publicly something else insulting about them. But people that don't do this, and they serve Hashem out of love. They say, I serve Hashem, even if things don't exactly go the way they want, they're still very happy. You know, it says about the Rebbe Marash that he had tremendous pain. He had a lot of pain in his stomach. And it was very painful. He suffered a lot, but he always smiled. You couldn't tell that he was in pain. So a few things. Someone that gets embarrassed or insulted and he doesn't respond, or someone that serves Hashem out of ava and he's happy even though he has some kind of pain. That the ones that Hashem loves, it's like the sun that goes out in its strength, which means just like the sun in the sky, it comes out in the morning and it gets stronger as the day goes on, right? The sun gets brighter. What's the brightest time of the day, the hottest time of the day? It's by midday or afternoon, and it gets stronger and stronger. Similarly, those that love Hashem, these people that we just described, they get stronger and stronger, which means things in their life get better and better. Anyone that has this is from Rashi and other commentaries, anyone that has these types of midos, it's someone, they're called Oyhavav Shel Hashem. Hashem loves these people because even though someone wronged them, they make sure not to respond in such a way, and even when things don't go the way they want, they still are rejoicing with Hashem. And with this, we'll conclude for today, and with Hashem tomorrow we'll continue. If you're watching this on the replay, like, share, subscribe, ask questions, comment. We'll try to address them. See you soon.